Für die EFDD-Fraktion hat jetzt
For the EFDD, Mr. Iwaszkiewicz.
Pani premier, szanowni
Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, as the first Polish member of the European Parliament to speak in this debate, I'd like to stress that Polish issues should be resolved in Poland by Poles.
przegraną i żałośnie donosi na swój kraj.
I am very disappointed at the way some members have brought about this debate for reasons that are unclear and which is based on questionable legal grounds. As you yourself have said, Prime Minister, there will be benefits from this debate. The Italians with their socialist Prime Minister, the Germans, the Hungarians are increasingly doing un-European things, and there is a danger to the EU. In Poland we have very bad experience with foreign interference in Polish affairs. We lost our independence for 125 years after the partitions between Russia, Austria and Prussia. We lived under several decades of fraternal help from the Russians. Now we have the fraternal help of European commissioners. But it would be best for Poland and best for Europe if the Poles looked after their own affairs. Thank you.
für die ENF-Fraktion hat jetzt das Wort.
For the ENF group now, Mr. Marusik.
Panie Przewodniczący,
Mr. President, Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Jarek. We very much speak from the same hymn sheet. I speak on behalf of the Europe of Nations and Freedom group, but also as a Pole. As a Pole, I am not worried about criticism from abroad. Criticism from abroad could mean that the Polish government has done something in the Polish national interest, and I'm pleased about that. Nor am I worried about the positive or negative opinions expressed in this chamber because they do not affect the debate in Poland. We can resolve our own affairs there. The problem is the fact that this debate is happening at all. That's the problem with Europe. This is an ostentatious manifestation of external interference in the internal affairs of a sovereign country. That is a European Union disease. This debate has nothing to say. This debate cannot speak on the subject of Polish democracy. What this debate does is to speak volumes about the catastrophic situation that the European Union is in as a political project. The European Union is running away from its own problems, from issues that it cannot resolve. As member of the Europe of Nations and Freedoms group, I appeal to you, members, to open your eyes. This project has run out of steam. It is running on empty. We need a new form of coexistence of sovereign, independent European nations. That is the challenge that we face, and that is what we owe our countries and our voters. And now Mr. Korwin-Mikke, who is non-attached. Mr. President, I'm not a Democrat. I hate democracy. Democracy is vile. I want you to understand the Democrats in Poland voted for PIS. You wanted democracy? You've got democracy. PIS has a majority. PIS can do what it likes. If you think PIS is a bad party, I agree with you. But imagine how bad the previous lot were. They stole, they were corrupt. I lost my freedom of speech under them. The people of Poland elected PIS because PIS heralded hope. The hope that some people could actually end up behind bars where they belong. I believe the European Union should be destroyed.
Das ist zunächst der Abgeordnete Korwin.
The first speaker will be Mr. Korwin-Mikke.
Thank you, President. It is with pleasure that I can remark that Mr. González-Pons said that there is no other empire than the empire of law. Even Madame Zimmer said that it's not about democracy, it's about the way you see the law. Rightly so. Either we have rule of law or we have democracy, because the law wants one thing and majority wants something else, and then you have to make your decision, make your choice. I've said it 100 times already, also in this house. In Poland, it's very good example. Someone says that the changes in the court were not in line with the law, and the ruling party says, so what? We are elected and they are not elected. I'm in favor of the rule of law and independent governments, but during the previous government in Poland, the president of the tribunal wrote to the president asking whether it was constitutional or not. So for the rule of law to dominate in Poland, however, it was totally unclear, and I think the European Union should be destroyed. Thank you very much.
Das Wort hat jetzt
The next speaker for ENF will be Mr. Marusik.
Panie Przewodniczący,
President, ladies and gentlemen, to consider the political dilemmas of the situation in Poland, I think this is not the right place to do so. Those things were considered, have been considered, and will be considered in Poland, in Polish institutions. So, let us all quiet down, be more optimistic, and let's have more trust in Europe. There were other big, mighty powers that came and went. There were the Romans, there was the Soviet Union, and they're gone. And Asia is still there. Even if the EU becomes history, then Europe will still be in place. It's dozens of nations who want one and the same thing: freedom and justice. Let us then leave this discussion aside. Let us think about Europe. If you care for the success of Europe, let us think what to do, not to become involved, interfere with countries, companies, businesses, families, and what they do. Not to interfere with what people do. Let everyone live freely the way they want. Let us Europe be free. Let us believe in Europe. Thank you.
jeżeli można jeszcze słów...
If you allow me, because I can see my time hasn't run up, I am very happy that this debate has provoked this common sense thinking in this chamber, because we used to be left in a cocoon, totally away from the reality that we can see around, both in Europe and in member countries from which we come here. So common sense once again should prevail, and then this debate will take place on specific problems that Europe is facing. Then we will be happy nations in Europe.
Okay. So, das Wort hat jetzt
The next speaker for the EFDD group will be Mr. Iwaszkiewicz.
Pani premier, szanowni państwo.
Madam Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, the situation in Poland is normal. I'm saying this as a representative of opposition. Parliamentary democracy is working.
I will confirm what was said by the two previous speakers, that this debate today is about the borders of the competences of European Commission and European institutions, because the borders are being pushed continuously. More and more competences are added without any justification in European law. The European Commission is trying to be a super government, the boss of all bosses, the supervisor of national governments. It must be said clearly, there is no agreement on their interference into the internal affairs of sovereign nation states. Good advice from German or Belgian politicians can be kept to themselves. You have your own problems of immigrants who are destroying your culture, who are mistreating your women. There is the problem of economic crisis also stupid decisions of politicians. Madam Prime Minister, congratulations on your speech today. I am deeply convinced that the future of Poland is only and exclusively in the hands of the Polish people. It's up to us. All the best.